Okay, welcome to another video in our webinar series on crop insurance. Today we'll be talking about some resources from the Farm Service Agency. Okay, trying to share my screen. So today we'll be going over a few resources that aren't crop insurance programs, but they're things that can either also help you protect or regain some things you've lost to disaster, or help you figure out which crop insurance programs and policies might be best for your operation. So first we'll be talking about the emergency loan program and the disaster set-aside program. So these programs are not crop insurance, but they're post-disaster programs you can participate in to help you recover. And then we'll be talking about the disaster assistance at a glance fact sheet. So this will help you determine which crop insurance policies or programs would either best fit your operation or the types of disasters you might be worried about. And then we'll go through the disaster assistance discovery tool. So the emergency loan program is basically just a loan that helps producers recover from losses due to drought, flooding, or other natural disasters. So this can be damages or losses in production or to physical structures like buildings, silos, barns, and even equipment. And these can be used to restore or replace either essential property, pay for all or part of production costs that might be associated with a disaster, pay essential family living expenses. So if your full family income comes from your farming operation, this loan program might be used to help supplement some of that income. It'll also help you reorganize your farming operation, maybe get back on your feet, and also refinance certain debts you might already have before this. There is a maximum that you're allowed to borrow of $500,000. So that may not cover all your expenses lost, all the damage, but it can certainly get you on the right track. The next is the disaster set-aside program. So if there's a disaster, the FSA can choose to set aside one payment of a loan that you have through the FSA if you're in a disaster area. And they say, yeah, this disaster will probably keep you from making this payment, or that making that payment may create some hardship. So what they're able to do is postpone that payment for you for 1 month, or depending on how it's structured, it might be like a quarterly payment. And this would help you continue farming. If there was a disaster, it might allow you to use the money you would use to repay your debt for maybe fixing anything that was damaged or even replanting. You do have 8 months after your disaster to apply. So, you may not know it right away, but you may need to set aside a payment later on, and you've got 8 months to do so. And then each payment that you set aside will continue to accrue interest. So it's not like this payment is forgiven. It's just pushed off to a later date, and it has to be repaid in full by the end date of your loan. So it's not adding an extra month or whatever onto your loan. It's just kind of dispersing what you owe for that period across the rest of your loan. Next, we'll look at the disaster assistance programs at a glance. This is a fact sheet pamphlet that the FSA has on their website. It's very easy to find. And this is meant to help you compare crop insurance policies and programs from the FSA, the RMA, which is the risk management agency that's with the USDA, and they handle all the crop insurance policies, like the multi-peril crop insurance, the whole farm revenue. And this also compares a few programs that the NRCS has that are available to growers. And this also shows not only a comparison between programs, but it shows what disasters or disaster events are covered by the programs. There is a little icon key at the bottom. You can see the green check means yes, this disaster is covered. The red X means no, the disaster is not covered. And then if it's yellow, it's either a yes or no, but there's a caveat that determines that, and there's a footnote included. So the first two we'll look at are crop insurance. So this kind of just lumps all crop insurance policies available from the RMA together. So that would include your multi-peril, your whole farm, and including the new micro farm policy we've talked about a couple times over the last few months. And so it shows that all crop insurance policies from the RMA protect against blizzard, fire, hurricane, typhoon, excessive moisture, flood, excessive winds, tornado, drought, hail, even volcanic eruption and volcanic emissions, freeze, and earthquake. So all of those are covered under the crop insurance policies. This page also has farm loans. So any farm loans from the FSA that can be used to help you recover from an emergency or a disaster, and even just regular operating loans from the FSA. They are also cover against all the disasters we talked about. And so the next page, we've got the emergency assistance for livestock, honeybees, and farm-raised fish program, also known as ELAP or ELAP. This is from the FSA, and this is assistance to livestock producers, honey producers, and fish producers for losses due to disease, adverse weather conditions, and some other conditions. So this chart does not talk about diseases, but it's talking about the natural disasters. And so the ELAP is covered for blizzard, hurricane, typhoon, excessive moisture, flood, tornado, and then volcanic eruption and earthquake. You can see that there's some caveats for a couple of these. So fire, it says, yes, you're covered for fire, except on federally managed land. For drought, it says no, except for water and feed transportation. Hail says yes, but only for grazing losses. And then freeze is a yes, but only if it's determined eligible by the FSA. So you can see how this chart works. The next one is the Emergency Conservation Program. That is also from the FSA. And this is technical assistance to farmers and ranchers to restore farmland damaged by natural disasters. And it also has some emergency water conservation measures. So it's to help you if your farmland is being damaged by a disaster, or if there are some emergencies that are causing your water supply to decrease. And you can see hail and freeze are not protected under this policy. The next one is an NRCS program, and this is the program. A lot of growers are familiar with this one. This is financial and technical assistance to either improve water supply or soil conservation on your land. And you can see that it covers all the disasters. Then the last two are two that we've talked about several times in our series, and we'll be talking again about these at the end of the month in a video we'll be posting. This is the NAP and TAP. You can see that NAP, the Non-Insured Crop Disaster Assistance Program, You're protected against all the disasters except for blizzard and fire, and those are covered, but only as a related condition to an eligible disaster. And then the Tree Assistance Program, or TAP, you're covered against all the disasters except for blizzard, and that's only as a related condition to an eligible disaster. It looks like we might have a question. So when would someone grow or have animals on federally managed land? That might be, either rented land. I don't know if someone rents some land from the government to graze on. I know in LBL, not far from me here in Murray, there's some bison and some corn fields within the park. And so I assume those are rented either from the government or, the parks agency. And so the next thing we'll talk about is our disaster assistance discovery tool. And so this is a tool that the USDA and FSA have put together that can help you determine what programs might best suit you if you've had a disaster. So there is a drawback that you do have to search for a specific disaster using specific dates and location for it to tell you, which programs might be applicable to your operation. So this is very much a post-disaster tool, but if you want to play around with it, it might also help you determine which programs might best suit what you're growing, because it does look at what you're producing. So we will follow this link and we'll walk through the tool if it will work. Okay, so let's see. So the first question, did you suffer a loss or damage as a result? Can everybody see it?
I think you gotta share the screen rather than, like, if you're sharing the PowerPoint, we can't see what's on the screen.
Perfect. Is it all good now?
Yep, there you go.
Okay. So the first question says, did you suffer a loss or damage as a result of a natural disaster? So we'll go ahead first and click no and see what it says. So it says, since we didn't suffer any damage, there's nothing we could apply for right now, but it does give you some resources down below to look into some preventative measures to prepare for a disaster. So it's got some links to several USDA resources, including information on crop insurance. It'll take you to the Risk Management Agency's website, where you can read up all about crop insurance, and also their agent locator tool, where you can find a crop insurance agent near you. And then it's also talking about the Non-Insured Crop Disaster Assistance Program, or NAP, that we've talked about before. They also have a link to FEMA, as well as another protection and recovery page they've put together. But we'll go back up to the top and click yes. So this is why I said there's a little drawback. So it's asking when the disaster occurred. If I were to select just a random year and month and just make up a disaster, it would tell me there was not a disaster in that time during that location. So if you can, maybe do a little research and say, I want to see what I might be protected against blizzard, you could look for a date and a location where some growers suffered blizzard damage and use that information. But we'll go with something fairly recent that a lot of us know a lot about. So we'll do December of last year, 2021. And we'll put tornado and excessive wind because Kentucky did suffer a lot of damage due to tornadoes in December. So this does list a lot of things associated with storms, low temperatures, high temperatures, water, and then other, so avian or animal attack, biohazard, plant disease, earthquake, volcano. So what did the disaster impact? So for this example, we're going to say we had some bushes and vines, maybe that we get fruit from. We'll choose some ornamental nursery. Maybe we're growing some trees for sale as well. Maybe you also have a few honeybees, some livestock, we'll say. And then I guess some pasture land, let's go with that. And now here's where it's asking for the location. So it might be a good idea to look up some information of a past disaster, so you can use that. So I selected Kentucky, and I know for sure Graves County had a lot of damage. So for this example, we'll just use that. So now it takes me down to my results. So the first program it says I might benefit from would be the emergency assistance for livestock, honeybees, and farm-raised fish. So this is something I could apply for after the disaster and maybe get some relief. They've got the livestock indemnity program listed for us. I believe this deals with forage and cover crops, pasture land improvement that we could apply for. It says we would qualify for the NAP, so Non-Insured Crop Disaster Assistance Program. This is something you would have to apply for beforehand, though. So right now, the NAP would not help you, but it might help you say, maybe I want to protect in the future. The Tree Assistance Program is also eligible for our example. This is a program that you apply for after the disaster to help you replant your trees and bushes. So that is certainly one we could participate in. And then the Emergency Conservation Program. And so this one is to rehabilitate farmland damage by natural disasters. And so that is it on the Disaster Assistance Discovery Tool. It's very easy to find on the USDA website. You can find a link on the FSA website or even just in Google. And then we'll head back to our PowerPoint. If I can bring it up, maybe not. Okay. And the next, that's it on our FSA resources. Our next webinar will be on April 12th, and that will be a grower panel. In May, we'll have a step-by-step with one farm. So we'll go through one whole farm's, an imaginary farm's application for crop insurance using some online tools that we can use to maybe find premium examples and kind of help y'all get a feel for what it would be like to apply for crop insurance. In June, we'll do another Q&A with an insurance agent. So if you've got questions, be sending those in to us. And like I mentioned earlier, at the end of this month, on March 29th, we'll have a video posted about NAP, TAP, and the rainfall index. Then we do need to say thanks to our funding and support for this webinar series from the Southern Extension Risk Management Education Center and the USDA National Institute for Food and Agriculture. And that's it with my presentation. If anybody has any other questions, we can get those answered real quickly. Okay, I guess that's it. And we thank everybody for attending today, and feel free to look up the videos and watch past videos on YouTube and Facebook. Thanks.